complete.
Welcome back, Steelies. For the 11th trillionth time, let us answer the question, what is black? Oh.
I don't relate to most of y'all because a lot of you look at people like Ari and Jayda, beautiful girls, but like, that's your goals. That's what you want to be like. Goals for me is the mom that pulls up to Whole Foods in the brand new Escalade with the Mimazari stroller. Her kids are decked out head to toe. She's decked out Lululemon head to toe. And it's like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. You know she don't got no job, but she's living her best life. Like, that's my goal.
Okay, all right. Well, the internet was not having it. Let's take a look at what a lot of people had to say about this video. I mean, just say you want to be white, Miss Starbucks 2021. This seems anti-black. Notice she didn't use Kylie Jenner or Kim K as an example, but immediately used 2 black girls as an example of who she doesn't want to be like. You described a rich white woman while putting down rich black women. Well, here's a picture of 2 very wealthy, rich black women. I don't think what she said was putting them down. So then the video got around to your girl Jayda, and this is what she had to say about the video. Jayda said, I don't get it. I live way better than that with 1 kid and an 80K Birkin bag, hopping out of one of my 4 cars. Nobody want to be white. Relax, be you. To which Courtney, the creator of the video, responds, you absolutely do. You are rich, gorgeous, and live an absolutely dream life. No one's trying to undermine your success. I just want something different.
Okay, sometimes y'all are literally infuriating because you put words in my mouth and make assumptions, and that's literally not what I said. If I want to say it, I'll say it. But let me clarify. I'm not denying the fact that these women are rich. I understand that they're rich and successful. They have multiple businesses. Blase, blase, blase. The point that I am trying to focus on is the aesthetic. It's a different aesthetic. And either you get it or you do not. And if you do not, this is not the post for you.
What aesthetic? Oh, you mean like this aesthetic? It's interesting how people were trying to play daft when it's very clear that she was talking about the aesthetic that Jayda presents when she's in her boss chick, entertainer, money-making mode. While many people know Jayda as the baby mama of Lil Baby, she has amassed a net worth of $4 million. Entrepreneurship was instilled in Jayda from an early age. This is a generational blessing that is not bestowed upon the average black girl. A blessing that has no doubt contributed to her success. Beyond her highly successful business ventures, Jayda is also a successful influencer on both Instagram and YouTube. Ari has a similar come-up story. They leverage their proximity to men with fame and money into success for themselves. And why wouldn't you? Many women in relationships with wealthy men have attempted and or achieved similar. Which brings us back to this question. What is black? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Why does a black woman saying she wants to wear Lululemon leggings mean she wants to be white? To answer this question, let's take a look at 2 things. Racial esteem and racial identity. Why is this important to look at? Because most groups don't struggle with this the way black people do. A brief understanding of world and American history can tell you why. First, let's take a look at a clip from historian Robin Walker.
Self-esteem and racial esteem are not the same thing. Someone can have very high self-esteem where they think highly of themselves and very low racial esteem where they think very badly of other black people. And in truth, most black people have very high self-esteem and very low racial esteem. And that's one of the reasons why black people are prone to fight each other, prone to disagree with each other, prone to conflict with each other, because someone thinks very highly of themselves and someone thinks very lowly of their group. So if someone thinks highly of themselves and very lowly of their group, that is a recipe for fighting. That is a recipe for conflict. And the way to raise people's racial esteem is to introduce them to their history. They will see their people in a very different way to how they see their people at present. And that's the difference between high self-esteem, low racial esteem, to having a balance where you have high self-esteem and high racial or ethnic esteem.
Okay, so now that we have an understanding of how colonization impacts racial esteem, let's move on to racial identity. For Black Americans, data, alongside societal attitudes and stereotypes, often present a negative picture. American society and mainstream media portray mostly negative and stereotyped depictions of Blackness. For most people, their idea of Blackness is defined for them by others' thoughts and ideas. Studies show children become aware of the racial pecking order by 3 to 4 years old. So, from an early age, most Black people's racial esteem and sense of racial identity is low and marred by the erasure of our history by colonizers. In America, gang, thug life, is most often attributed to Black people. Too few people know, though it's easy to research, that in the U.S., the history of gangs began on the East Coast in 1783 following the American Revolution. It's kind of hard to have a major influence on gang culture by and large when your people are still enslaved. The narrative of gangster influence in America is continuously pushed onto Black people by the media and society at large, generally as part of their culture, and it goes unchallenged. A typical overview of Black American history in school will take you from enslavement to the 1980s gang culture within a few days. Black girls and women are seen as less innocent and more promiscuous and sexual than their white female peers. Black families are typically shown as a single mother dealing with the deadbeat daddy crisis. And if the Black family is shown intact, it's usually at the expense and erasure of dark-skinned Black women. In comparison, the dominant society generally portrays itself as wholesome and the moral fabric of the world. It has always been made clear that Becky is well protected and well provided for. They're not showing their kids the gangs of New York in school. How many Black people had to sit in class while the teacher passed the textbook around and everyone got to practice saying the N-word? And so many Black people arrive to a false understanding of who they are and what they're capable of. So what can we do to combat this? Learn our history. Knowledge is power. That's why I've always advocated for bettering yourself by getting an education. And as it turns out, old girl is also dating a rapper, so I'm not sure why she felt the need to distinguish between herself and Jayda and Ari. As for this situation here, it looks like many people are conflating wealth with the racial pecking order. Black people having wealth, Black women wearing Lululemon leggings doesn't negate their race. Your race is generally fairly obvious, as it is based on social construct of how others see and address you. That's why non-Black peoples gatekeep to keep others out, not those who clearly identify as the race. Lululemon yoga pants, speaking in a certain tone, having money, certain jobs, who you are intimate with, etc., do not affect racial belonging for other groups of people. Class status within the group is obviously impacted by these factors, but not one's given race. Black folk have got to stop gatekeeping each other. To do so defeats the purpose of gatekeeping in and of itself. It's counterproductive and contributes to the overall low racial esteem that many Black people have. Focus on bettering yourself for you and your family instead of focusing on what the next person is doing. Strangers don't have to live up to your expectations, only you. Thank you for watching. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking.